How's it going, YouTube? Today I'm going to do a quick review on the MaxCatch Traveling Tire. It is a kit that contains a vise and all the tying tools you will need to successfully tie pretty much any flies that you're going to want to tie while you're out there traveling around. So, the reason I got this thing, I do some Project Healing Waters fly fishing or fly tying classes, meetings, whatever you want to call them, and I ride a motorcycle a lot of the time. And with this little handy kit, see how small, compact it is, I can throw this in the saddlebag on my Harley and I can go do those fly tying classes, and I don't have to worry about borrowing equipment or anything like that. I have everything in a handy little kit ready to go, so I can tie with everybody else and learn some new flies. So this kit would be perfect if you do any traveling around to go fly fishing other places. If you're lucky enough to go to Patagonia or down to the Bahamas to catch some bonefish, then take me with you. But yeah, so let's open this up, take a look inside, and check it out. Alright, so this is the kit. First thing you see when you open it up, you have a hook pallet. The lid on it's just magnetic, just pops right off. I tie inshore saltwater flies mostly, so that's what my hooks are tailored for. Only have a few types, but there is plenty of room for you to fill this thing up with hooks of all different sizes and styles for pretty much any flies you would like to tie. And the lid just pops on just like that. It's held on with some magnets, and it's nice and secure. It's not going to flop. Your hooks stay in place. Makes it really convenient and simple. All right. So now let's take a look at inside the case. First thing, the foam is a nice dense foam. It'll keep with the cuts for each individual tool, it'll keep all your stuff organized, keep everything nice and in place, so you don't have to worry about stuff bouncing around while you're out there traveling. And another good thing about it is if you have a tool, you tie all your stuff up, you're putting your things away after you're done tying, you can instantly tell if you're missing something. That way you don't accidentally leave your stuff sitting on a riverbank somewhere where you decided to tie, or in a classroom setting, or just hotel. You don't have to worry about forgetting something. You'll know at a glance if you have it or not. Alright, now first thing, we're going to pull out this vise. This is a very simple vise. That is actually a really good thing. When you're tying while you're traveling, you don't need a crazy complicated vise. This thing gets everything done all in a very simple, well-built, it's all metal, it's not plastic or anything. The caps on the thumb screws are plastic, but the thumb screws themselves obviously metal, so you don't have to worry about it breaking. To get to the base for the vise, you just lift up this chunk of foam right here with your tools, and has a plastic bottom and all your tools sit on top. Move it out of the way real quick. Here is the base for the vise, and you can leave it in this case and attach the vise to it, and it gives you a huge footprint. Or because how they designed the base of this, even though it's lightweight for ease of traveling, you don't carry a bunch of extra weight, it's a very big footprint, which makes it really stable. So I don't really leave it in the case very often because this works perfectly fine. So on the base you have a locating dowel, locating pin, whatever you want to call it, that sticks up right here, little nub, and then you have a thumb screw. Thumb screw engages with this little hook right here, and the dowel, you locate it on that hole right there. So you just set on, twist it, and tighten it down. Once you tighten the thumb screw, you're done. Rotate this so your hook slot is up and down. I already had it rotated. Oops. Okay, move this out of the way. I am going to, just to show you how good this vise is, I am going to put a couple of hooks on here. So this is a 2/0 long shank hook. This is a size 20 bead-headed nymph. I don't actually have any bare hooks that are small right now, or at least not that small. But these two should give you a quick, let you see just how big and how small this thing can securely hold. So I tightened the first one, the smallest of the thumb screws. Then I'll tighten the large one, and it's in. So with it in there, I can strum this hook. It bends the hook. A 2/0 hook will bend, and this vise, it's not going to slip. It's tight enough that you wrap it with your thread wraps. You can tie tight enough that you can break the thread before this hook is going to slip in this vise, which is, that's as tight as you would ever need it to tie any flies. And you notice I didn't have to support the base or anything. It's rock solid. Alright, now for the little tiny 20/0 hook bead-headed nymph, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to put it in, tighten the front down, and I'm going to put it right on the edge because that's how it would be tied. So I got the bottom of the hook point sticking out, got the rear of the hook in there. I turned it too much. Alright, so you can see hook point sticking out, and it's still right in there. And once again, I can strum it. It's in there, it's not slipping. So I don't have to change the jaws on this vise. I don't have to do any of that nonsense. From a tiny little hook to a relatively large 2/0, pretty big, and at least for flies. And this thing locks in without flipping anything, without changing jaws, without doing anything special. You can go from little tiny hooks like that to big honking hooks like this, and there's still plenty of room to go bigger, and there's actually room to go smaller with it, which that's pretty amazing. That's why I'm saying simple is always good with this. It's not a rotary vise, but you can spin this around. It's just if you want to take a look at the other side of it, no problem. Probably not going to be spinning it to do some wraps, but if you're tying on the go, do you really need that? Not really, or at least I don't. And how simple is that? Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and throw the base back in, put the tool tray back on, put the vise back in, and I'm packed back up. Alright, now let's go over some of these tools that you have here. Alright, I'm sure most of you who are interested in buying a traveling tying kit probably know what everything is in here. Some of you probably know it better than I do, but we'll go ahead and go over it anyways, just to make me feel a little better about it. This is your whip finisher that's included with the kit. It is an improved whip finisher. So it's an improved whip finisher. Basically, it's a simplified version of the Dan whip finisher. Still spins. I have lots of whip finishers of all different styles. Here's probably the one that most people are familiar with. For my particular choice, I prefer using the improved whip finisher. It's a lot simpler for me to do. You literally hook both these on the thread, pull it up, do your wraps, and then you just pinch it and it pops off. Can't get much simpler than that, and it makes a nice secure hold. That's all I could ever ask for. So I use it. I like it. I actually have more over there of them. That's how much I like using them. Next, we have the dubbing tool. So all you do, I don't know if you've ever used one. If you haven't, it's pretty simple. Make a loop with your thread. Put some dubbing in between it. At the end of the loop, you just pinch this down, hook this on, and then you just spin it. It'll tighten that thread up, that loop, wrap the dubbing up in it, and now you got dubbing on a thread that you can wrap around and tie your tie with. On this end of it, it is actually a little half hitch tool, and that has an opening on the end. You can slip it over some small flies or hook eyes, and you're ready to go. Next, we have the bodkin, and it's super sharp little point right there, which is nice. And as don't know if you can really tell, but this is the metal bristly wire kind of brush thing. You can use the bodkin. You just pick out hackle that's getting wrapped under thread, or push back feathers, or craft fur that's, trying to keep it out of the way. And this can help tame some of those ruly fibers that are getting in the way. You use this to brush them out of the way, and it picks it up, and it's, it's coarse, so it's pretty stiff, but it won't actually tear them. Very good thing. And once again, on the end of it, it can be used as a slightly different size half-hitch tool to go over different sizes on your hooks. And one thing you'll notice with this kit, a lot of the pieces are kind of multi-use. They did this just so they can pack as much punch into a small package as possible. And I think they found a pretty elegant solution for their goal. I mean, I'm thrilled with this kit. I use it a lot, and it still handles everything. Next, pretty basic, fly tying scissors. These things have cut a ton of thread, ton of materials, and they're still razor sharp. They're pretty small. They're 3.5 inch, I believe, which is a standard size. And I mean, I have many of the exact same scissors. They're wonderful scissors, and they're easy enough to swap out. But these ones have probably a couple hundred flies on them, and they're still razor sharp. No need to replace them. You can do the normal snip snip, or you can just have some tension on the thread, and you can just push forward with the scissors with them open, and it'll cut right through. Next, just another little brush to handle unruly fibers, get stuff in order, make your flies look nice and pretty. Whatever your goal, there's some way to do it with the items in this kit. Craft fur, you can brush out, you can push fibers back, or you can push them forward. Just, a lot of the stuff on this kit can be used multiple ways for multiple things. Just got to be a little creative, and there's probably a solution in this kit for it if you run into it while fly tying. Here is the actual half-hitch tool, and this side has a rather large hole that'll go over most of my saltwater hooks. This side has a smaller one, but still bigger than these. And if you're taking count, that makes 4 half-hitch tool sizes for a different size hook eyes. Alright, next on the list we have a hair stacker. So, pretty standard hair stacker. This one is made out of aluminum to keep it lightweight, and it is nice. You got the normal, you got small, and you got bigger. So it's a 3-piece hair stacker. So you put in a lot of hair, that one, a little less, go with that one. And super simple, works like a charm. Here, your vise sits in there. This is just your little simple threading tool. Don't really ever use this, but for me it's kind of easier just to wet the line a little, feed the thread, feed it through the bodkin, and kind of breathe in, and there it goes. Alright, next, hackle pliers. Self-explanatory, pretty simple. Clip this onto your hackle, grab right here, and then you can just roll it around your hook, put it on your finger, spin it around the hook. Got a nice clean hackle without a bunch of fuss. And yeah, it's nice, free moving. Bodkin, it's can be used, you got your insert right here, or since I don't ever use that, I just take a standard, fly tying thread bobbin, and it fits right on. Feed it through, works perfect, gets the job done, super simple, very convenient, and put this back on, pops right in the case like that, you're ready to go. So, that's pretty much everything in this kit. You just take your hook pallet, sit it right here. You can go up like that, or you can flip it over however you want. I usually do it like this. Close it, snap it shut, and you're done. This thing has, it's been basically what I tie the vast majority of my flies on. It's so convenient to use. It has everything in one go, and it's so convenient. That's I don't even know how to describe it. This thing is so convenient. It's a blast to use. I love this thing. MaxCatch did a wonderful job with it. Everything in it's quality. It's a very inexpensive kit for what it is. It's inexpensive, but it is not cheap. If that kind of makes sense. Everything in here is quality, but they don't charge an arm and leg for it. And if something happened, somebody stole this, I lost it, whatever, I would 100% buy another one of these. It's definitely worth its weight in gold. Alright, well, if you have any questions about it, feel free to comment below. I'll do my best to answer. And hope you have a nice day. Alright, that's it.